In some lines of work, you basically become a container for the hardest parts of life. So today we're going to talk about one of the most vital and frankly difficult skills in human services, how to hold that professional line when every single part of you just wants to break it.
Just imagine for a second your job is supporting families that are deep in crisis. I mean, you are on the front lines, hearing these stories of trauma, of anger, of pain that has maybe never been told to anyone before. It's real, it's raw, and it is incredibly difficult. And right in the middle of all that raw emotion, this really critical question pops up. How do you give someone genuine support without getting tangled up in all the drama? Without picking a side and, most importantly, without accidentally making a really bad situation even worse? Well, the answer really lies in this one powerful idea. You have to learn how to become a professional bridge.
And look, this isn't just about being polite or formal. It's about walking an emotional tightrope. When the stakes are this high, your professional boundaries are literally the only thing keeping everyone from falling.
This quote just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Being professional doesn't mean you don't care about the story. It's the exact opposite. It's the tool that lets you hold that story in a way that helps, not harms. It's what turns empathy from a potential problem into a safe, healing force. So, when you're in one of these super high emotion situations, you basically got three choices, three different ways you can show up. You can be a bridge, you can be a wall, or you can be an ally. So, let's kind of picture this. Right in the middle, you've got the bridge. That's the steady, neutral connector who's focused on moving forward. Then you have the wall, which is just an abrupt barrier that shuts everything down. And finally, there's the ally, who gets completely tangled up in all the emotional chaos. The path you choose right here is going to directly shape what happens next for everybody involved.
Okay, let's break this down a bit more. The bridge stays neutral and guides the client safely through the process. The wall, well, that just acts like a barrier, and it makes people feel totally dismissed. And the ally? Oh, that is the emotional trap. See, taking their side feels really good for a second. It gives them this temporary validation, but in the long run, it just creates a ton of confusion and dependency. It becomes pretty clear that only one of these roles actually leads to real progress.
So, saying I want to be the bridge is the easy part. The hard part is actually building it and maintaining it, especially when you're under pressure. So let's get really practical and look at the actual rules of the road for communication.
It all boils down to this. Your communication. Every single text, every email, every phone call is strictly limited to these three topics. That's it. Scheduling, location, and essential logistics. This isn't about being cold or rigid. It's about creating a really clear, safe container for the work. Anything else is just outside the boundaries of the bridge.
And this next principle, this is your compass. It's the golden rule for navigating any tough conversation. If you wouldn't be comfortable with your words being written down and shared with everyone else on the case, then those words simply do not belong in the work, period. No exceptions.
Now, theory is one thing, right? But pressure is a whole different beast. When emotions are running high, our brains, they just don't do nuance very well. And that's exactly why having a script, something you can fall back on, is so incredibly important. Let's walk through a couple of real-world scenarios.
This is a classic test. A client you've built some rapport with starts venting, and they're trying to pull you into their corner, to make you an ally. They are frustrated, and they want you to agree that someone else is to blame. The ally response, the leaning response, is to just agree. I know, it's so unfair. It feels good in the moment, sure, but it's a huge boundary violation. The bridge, on the other hand, does something different. It acknowledges the feeling, I hear that this feels frustrating, but then immediately and calmly redirects right back to the professional task at hand.
So why is this so powerful? It's because you're showing empathy for their emotion, but you're not co-signing their story of blame. This keeps you neutral, and it shifts the focus back to the productive, logistical stuff that you actually can control.
Okay, here's another huge red flag. The second you hear someone say, just between us, they are asking you to step off the bridge with them. This is a direct test of your professional boundaries. The tempting response is to lean in, get the gossip. But the bridge response is a firm but still respectful shutdown. It's not about being rude, it's about being clear about your role. You're not being secretive, you're actually being transparent about your professional limits.
You see, that feeling of a shared secret, it creates a false sense of safety. Real, lasting safety is built on professional transparency, where everyone knows the rules of the game and they trust you to be consistent. Secrecy doesn't protect anybody. It just multiplies the risk for everyone.
So how does this look when you're face-to-face? I mean, being a bridge doesn't mean being a robot. You absolutely should acknowledge emotions, teach coping skills, and coach your clients toward their goals. The real key is to help them learn how to name what they need without assigning blame.
And what's off limits? Venting about other professionals, sharing your personal opinions about the case, trying to guess why another worker did something, or using language like, "I agree with you." Basically, any conversation that needs to be off the record is a conversation you just shouldn't be having.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about one of the most dangerous areas for professional boundaries today: texting. It feels so casual, right? But we have to remember, texts are permanent, shareable records that are completely stripped of all tone and context. They're little landmines. And because of that, the rules for texting have to be even stricter. Texts are logistics tools. They are not relationship tools. They are only for scheduling, locations, cancellations, and logistics. No emotional stuff, no opinions, no "I hear you." Full stop.
So why does all this matter so much? After all these rules and scripts, what's the real, long-term impact of consistently holding the middle and just being the bridge?
Just look at the outcomes here. When you act as an ally, you teach dependency. When you act as a wall, you teach disconnection. But when you consistently act as the bridge, you model healthy communication and you teach real empowerment. You're actually giving them the skills to navigate the system themselves so that one day, they won't need you anymore. And really, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? It's not to be needed forever. It's to help families grow beyond your role. So the final question to ask yourself is this. In those crucial moments, when the pressure is on and emotions are high, are you building a bridge, a wall, or a tangled alliance? The choice you make defines everything.